Hey there, my friend. Welcome to the Relief Report. I'm Stephanie Clairmont, registered dietitian and founder of the Clarity program. Now, we are live in today's show, and we're going to just give it a couple of minutes to get people on the live show. It always takes a few minutes to kind of send out those notifications. If you're watching the replay, I'm so glad that you're here with me and you're making time to watch it. The goal for this show is to help all of you suffering with irritable bowel syndrome, inflammatory bowel diseases like Crohn's and colitis, and any other digestive disorders or diseases that involve gas, bloating, abdominal distension, diarrhea, constipation, all those awful things that don't sound very good. But in the world of IBS and digestive health issues, especially IBS, so many of us have been handed a pamphlet, handed a list of foods and kind of sent on our way to deal with it, either just get used to it or kind of figure it out on your own. And because I was diagnosed 10 years ago in 2007, I just don't want to leave you alone. I don't want you to have to suffer for years and years like I have. And now at this point in my life, have running the Clairmont Digestive Clinic for years and helping people with IBS and seeing people really see those results and getting a heck of a lot better, back to being your normal self. I know it's possible. So I'm here with you every week to support you in this journey. Now, before I get started in today's topics, we have some cool things to talk about. We are going to talk about eating out. That's a big one that all of my clients, all the members of the Clarity program always have that on their mind. How do I get back to normal? How do I eat out? How do I celebrate life? We're going to talk about that today and some strategies for that, as well as some updates to the Monash app in regards to food options on the low FODMAP diet. And I want to talk about peds a little bit. So if you're a mom or a dad with a child under 18 that's suffering with digestive health issues, or if you know a family member or friend that has a child that's dealing with either IBS or other digestive health issues, we're going to talk about that today. So please share this video with anyone that you think would really benefit from the information. Now, before we dig into that, I want to just let you know that tomorrow, Thursday, August 10th at 3 p.m. Eastern, I am holding a webinar. And I'm going to get Alita, my pal here, to post the link to the webinar sign-up page. We have over 300 people sign up for the webinar tomorrow. I'm going live at 3 p.m. to walk you through the 3 big mistakes that kept me stuck with IBS symptoms for 4 years before I finally put together a plan and figured it out and relieved my symptoms and got back to normal. I'm going to break down those mistakes for you, make sure that you're not making them and you don't ever make them in the future, and give you what you need to know, the opposite of those mistakes, what's actually going to get you feeling a lot better. So please join me in the webinar tomorrow. You're going to see the link to sign up in the comments below very shortly. All right? Now, let's dig into today's topic. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is a research update. So we have a journal article that came out earlier this year, published in the Journal of Gastroenterology and Hepatology, and it's called Adapting the Low FODMAP Diet to Special Populations, Infants and Children. And it's by a researcher at Monash University, Marina Iacovo. The thing is about this article was really like a summary article of what we currently know about children with digestive issues and the right plan for them, and a review of some studies. So when you're reading things in magazines, or you're watching shows, or you're seeing posts on Facebook, or even in, these FODMAP groups, or these Facebook groups that have so much information in them, always know that we should come back to the research and we should just figure out, what it actually means. And so this paper, very interesting, said that in pediatric populations, over 50% of the consultations are for children with IBS. So we're seeing a lot of children under the age of 18 suffering with these digestive issues that we are. This makes me really sad. I don't know how you feel about this. This makes me really, really sad. Oh, I'm seeing some comments. Lori's here. Hi, Lori. Nice to see you. And Alita's here. If you guys are joining me, I'd love for you to give me a thumbs up or a hi or a hello. I'm so glad when you show up with me live. Then I'm not just sitting in my office by myself. I'm kind of getting a little teary because for those of you that are here on the show, you have IBS or you have digestive health issues. How awful is it? It's so awful. It really impacts our lives. And I've worked with hundreds of clients over the years to help them get their lives back. But when I hear that 50% of, these consultations to ped gastroenterologists are those with IBS, it just makes me so sad because I know how much they're struggling with these symptoms. And because I struggled at age 25. So imagine, that 9-year-old or that 12-year-old that's going through so many things now, struggling with embarrassing digestive issues. So it breaks my heart. So we have to do something about it. We have to understand it. And again, if you know anyone, you can share this on your personal Facebook page. Maybe it will help people or any parents that are dealing with this with their children. Let's just get the information out there. There is some evidence that a lower diet in lactose, sorbitol, fructose can help reduce symptoms in children with IBS. We also have a randomized control trial that looked at children aged 7 to 17 on the low FODMAP diet compared to typical American diet, and that children did experience the decrease in pain, severity, abdominal pain, and other symptoms. So we know that the low FODMAP diet, as it can help those of us with IBS as adults, can help children. But what I really find interesting about this particular paper, and I think I really agree with Marina or Dr. Iacovo, the dietitian. Actually, I don't know if she's a dietitian, a doctor, but she's a dietitian. Is that we have to be really mindful when we work with children under the age of 18. We have to be mindful with everyone that we help with digestive health issues, especially with this low FODMAP diet. And you guys have heard me say this before. The low FODMAP diet really helped start me on the path. It has really helped a lot of my clients be a really beautiful tool to help relieve symptoms. However, it's not the only tool, and it's not just an all-in follow this diet for the rest of your life kind of thing. And so when we work with children, we have to really careful that we go about these strategies and the plan in implementing, that we don't actually affect mental health, that we don't actually kind of create these negative eating patterns. And I think we have to be really careful with that. So, my recommendation, and it's very similar to Marina's here, is that there are FODMAPs in the diet. And that, do we have to go low FODMAP and follow that exclusion diet for a few weeks or a few months? Not necessarily. And I've worked with clients in my practice with children, a few actually, not that many, but a few, where we didn't go all the way low FODMAP, but we just kind of started to slowly do it the other way, where we left out a few foods. Maybe we eat a little less fruit, right? A lot of fruit has fructose and other FODMAPs in it. So maybe a little lower fruit diet, or looking at, maybe a little less lactose or some of the FODMAPs. So Marina says, the diet needs to be approved by a pediatrician. You need to be working with a dietitian. You need to consider other things in the life. And, that goes the same with adults, right? We need to be doing the low FODMAP diet or any kinds of changes to your diet and your digestive health along with an expert, along with someone that can really support you. I'm here for you if you need me. I am. I run the Clarity program to support you. But whatever you or any children or parent does is, we have to make sure that we have a whole inclusive plan. And it's not just a food list. We don't just eat low FODMAP or, and avoid high FODMAPs. It can be very scary, and it's for such a limited time that it's so important that when we're working with our children that we're really aware of that before we move into that. So I would not recommend an exclusion diet of low FODMAP for the period of time that we would with adults. For children, we would maybe be mindful of eating for good digestion, including foods that are good for the body, less processed food, maybe less carbs or junk food or fruit, depending on that person's diet. And I've seen my adult clients as well as my child clients without the low FODMAP diet, with some of the principles and additional dietary strategies, really do well without having to stick to such a sticky diet. Now I have some comments here. I can see Barbara says, hi. So glad that you're here. And I was one of those kids and it was hard. I can imagine. I'm going to cry again, Barbara. Lori says, IBS is awful and I desire to be free from it. Yay, Lori. I absolutely believe that you can. And free from it is such an interesting term. And I think that I just want you to know, what our goals are is that, we have to live with IBS or inflammatory bowel disease or whatever digestive disorder or disease you have. It's kind of, it can be a part of us and we have to be mindful of it for our lives, but it doesn't mean it needs to control us. And it doesn't mean we can't free ourselves from those persistent, uncomfortable, awful symptoms. You absolutely can. We want to live a more mindful, healthy life, and you can absolutely get there. So if anybody needs my help, wants my help, I'm here for you. The Clarity program is now currently open. Our doors are open just for the next few days. We're closing the doors on Sunday night at midnight because we want to really focus all of our attention on our members in the program. We don't want to be, getting new members in on a everyday kind of basis. So people are joining now. They're joining until Sunday. So if you want my help, please, send me a message. I'd love to chat with you about it or send you the link or have you in the program. So Barbara says, getting info out there is crucial. As a kid, IBS really hurt my confidence in social situations. I totally agree, right? So we got to get this information out there, to parents, to kids, and make sure that they're on the right plan that can get them feeling better much more quickly. So Alita's actually shared a comment and pinned it. So if you guys want to join me in the webinar tomorrow, I was talking about the 3 big mistakes keeping you stuck with symptoms of IBS, then you can sign up right there. I'd love to have you. Now let's move on for those that are following a low FODMAP diet, whether you're in the elimination phase, so you're not eating any foods that are high in FODMAPs, sticking to a low FODMAP diet, or if you're in the challenge phase or the ongoing wellness phase, where you're just eating well for digestion and you're being really mindful of foods that are good for digestion and not good for digestion and FODMAPs and all that stuff. Monash has been doing lots more testing, same with our other labs in Australia, and I'm not sure if you've seen this yet, but here it is for you. Oyster mushrooms are actually, unlike other mushrooms that have already been tested, oyster mushrooms are low in FODMAP. So according to Monash, a serving size of 2 cups is considered low in FODMAPs, which is amazing for all my mushroom lovers out there. We can now have a little bit of mushrooms in our frittata, our omelets, our stir fries, wherever you want to sprinkle those mushrooms. Mushrooms have that beautiful umami flavor, which I think is super important for our vegetarian and vegan people that are working through digestive health issues and trying to be mindful of those FODMAPs or going on a low FODMAP diet. So it's great news. And I think it's really kind of interesting that as more and more testing is done, more and more foods are analyzed, we're seeing that different serving sizes, different variations of food, different kinds of ways that the food is grown, prepared, is really showing a difference in FODMAPs. So I really, really want to make sure that everybody knows the low FODMAP diet is just a stepping stone. It's just a part of the whole system, okay? You aren't going to eat low FODMAP forever. And what all this shows us is that some serving sizes, some types of foods, some, variations of mushrooms, different kinds of preparations are totally different in FODMAPs. Everyone is unique and unique to find your personal tolerance. So experiment with stuff, okay? But that's what we know. We know mushrooms, oyster mushrooms, let's eat them. The last thing today I want to talk about is eating out on the low FODMAP diet. So this is a hot topic in the club. This is a hot topic in my program for my clients because we all just want to get back to living a normal life. And actually, if you see on this page, I was out with my husband on Friday for a date night, and I posted these delicious bowls that we had when we were eating out. And we went out for dinner, just a light dinner, and then we did some putting, and then we went out for wine. So just a simple date night, but we all want that, right? We all want to be able to go out in public. How many of you, really want that ability to know and feel confident what to eat when you're eating out and, to be able to socialize and hang out, go on a date, hang out with your friends, those kinds of things? Is that something that we all want? I can give me some thumbs up or tell me some yes. Tell me if you want this kind of information on how you can do this. I think that you guys want this because I know a lot of my clients want it. So an article is published just recently on the Monash blog, but you'll see a lot of this on some of our expert blogs and out in the online web world of how to eat out. And so some of the things, so Lori says yes. Barbara says yay mushrooms. Bree says yes. Awesome. So let's talk about it. So Monash published an article on eating out at restaurants, and they talked about Italian, Chinese, French, and Italian. So depending on where you're going and what you are doing, there's going to be different things. Now, for me, the very first thing you need to do is you need to get through that first 7-week phase of finding relief. For you to clearly identify what your triggers are, you need to get that relief phase done. You need to feel good, and you need to feel symptom-free or have your symptoms a lot better managed and under control. Then we can go through a step-by-step challenge to say, hey, I'm okay with small amounts of fructose foods or fructin foods or, those kinds of foods. So in the club, in our program, someone just shared that they're in the challenge phase and they're okay with a little bit of onions and garlic, which is awesome because that's one of the biggest things in restaurant food. And that's one of the things that I see here in Monash's article that they published, whether it's Chinese, French, Indian, Italian, whatever it is looking for those menu options or asking the chef what doesn't contain onions and garlic. And I would challenge that and say that, my friend, FODMAPs is not for life. If you can get through phase 1 and find relief and get through phase 2, which is another 7 or 8 weeks of challenging foods, you can get really clear on what you can have. And let me tell you, a lot of my clients find that they can have a small amount of onions or garlic. For me, personally, I can tell you, I can have a little bit of garlic, no symptoms at all, maybe a touch of onion, but I mostly avoid onion and larger quantities of onion. For some reason, like I can't have a lot of that. So you really want to find that threshold. And when you get through just a few months of working through this stuff, you'll be able to eat out so much easier. So I can tell you, when I went out with Stuart, we just went to this kind of bowl place, and they had rice bowls and quinoa bowls and all these bowls. So firstly, I don't have a lot of wheat. And that's another thing that's kind of here in the media update here with Monash and what they're talking about with eating out. For me personally, I can handle sourdough bread, no problem. Really works well for my body. It has wheat, but the sourdough, the way that the bacteria ferments the bread and it's kind of easier to digest. So, getting clear on what you can have helps you. So when you go out, I can have a little bit of bread, or I can only have sourdough bread, or I'm going to choose the rice bowl instead of the noodle bowl. And then when it comes to kind of toppings, I don't see this here. This isn't related to FODMAPs, but one of the big things with eating out is if you can eat more cooked vegetables than raw vegetables. So a lot of my clients and a lot of people in the program really find that they have a fine balance between how much salad or raw vegetables they can have. Has nothing to do with FODMAPs, but it has to do with how you digest food and how you eat food and how your body works on it. And we want to do the best we can and eat well for digestion. So we want to incorporate other strategies like that. And when you eat out, you can tolerate a little more FODMAP when you eat really well for digestion. When you do some of those strategies that we teach in the program, like more cooked vegetables, I think your tolerance level will be increased without symptoms. So some other things are, kind of looking at those food choices that, have the vegetables that are more easily tolerated, maybe low in FODMAPs or not sulfurous vegetables, I would recommend. And kind of the other thing that they kind of start to talk about a little bit here is sauces. Sauces is a tough one. So when you have a curry or when you have a pasta sauce, those sauces usually have, the onions, the garlic, they can have mushrooms, they can have all kinds of stuff, and then it gets a bit cloudy. So when you can simplify your dishes, choose like grilled or baked fish or chicken, maybe even the red meats are an inflammatory food, so that might bother you as well. So kind of sticking to the lighter meals. When I went out with Stuart, I had a bowl with, it had like quinoa and kale, like sauteed kale. So I had only cooked vegetables in my bowl. They had these like spicy grapes, which were amazing. And I had cauliflower. Cauliflower is a high FODMAP food, but I've been eating more cauliflower because I can tolerate. It's mostly really simple. It's like a half a cup portion. It's not too big. A little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper, kind of keeping it really simple can really work for you. There was a little bit of curry in my bowl, but it wasn't like a bowl of curry. It was kind of like my bowl had like a couple of different things in it. So it's like a little bit of curry. So this is the thing is, you can actually tolerate, I just know that you can get there and tolerate little bits of all these foods. If you're mindful, if you get through that relief stage, if you get through that challenge phase, and you can really identify, what your personal tolerance is, what your threshold is, what FODMAPs you can have. And also, this is the secret, is adding these other strategies, these other digestive strategies to really help your body digest. Make sure that your gut microbiome and the bacteria that live in there are working well and doing all these things that really help your body work well. You can tolerate more. I've seen it year after year with my clients. So what do you guys think about that? What are your tips for eating out? Do you agree with me? I'd love to hear what you say. I can see Edwina's here. Hi, Edwina. I can see Anne has a comment, just had a sauce issue this week, garlic. So absolutely, Anne, and I'm not sure if you just joined us or you were listening to the whole thing, but I think working through that relief stage where you have your symptoms under control and then challenging, you might find that garlic is okay in a small amount, but not in a larger amount. Or you might find that garlic doesn't work for you, but you can have a little bit of apple, or you can have a little bit of onion, or you can have a whole sandwich, or you can tolerate mayo, which has, something else in it. So I think it's important to go through those phases. And Anne, you're absolutely right that the sauces can be, the challenging part when we're eating out. So keeping it really simple is the goal. Now, my friends, do you have any questions for me? That's it for our relief report today. We have the link there for you to join us on the webinar tomorrow. I will be live on the webinar. I will be going through a little bit about my journey. If you don't know more about me and kind of my struggles and how I got where I am now, which is feeling really great on a daily basis. I still have IBS, but I'm able to eat out and I'm able to travel, I'm able to do those things and keep my symptoms under control. And if they do come up, they're very, very mild compared to what they used to be. So join us for that webinar tomorrow. We have over 300 people signed up. I'd love to see you there. And again, it is live, so I'll be working through these 3 big mistakes. I'd love to hear, if they're mistakes that you've been doing or health experts have told you to do them. Some of them might shock you. Some of them you might be like, yep, I was told to do that, So I'd love to have you on there and chat with you about them and then show you, what you should be doing instead of these mistakes that so many experts are telling us. And I'm also going to talk about that Clarity program. As I said, the doors are open until Sunday. So if you want to learn more about the program, you want me to show you some behind the scenes of what it looks like, what the benefits are, what you'll actually achieve in the program with all of us in there, then you're going to learn about it tomorrow in the webinar as well. So I'd love to see you guys there. Marie says, see you tomorrow. Yay, Marie, I'm so excited. Make sure that you guys jump on early because there's a comment section and we only have 100 spots in there and we have 300 registered. So Marie, make sure you jump on, you get on that page and you sign into the comment section so I can hear from you. I can answer your questions. I'll see you tomorrow and I hope some of you will show up tomorrow as well. Just make sure that you sign up with that link so you get the information and the link for tomorrow. And again, jump in a bit early so that you can secure your spot in the comment section and I can hear from you and we can chat about things and answer all your questions. And I hope some of you will join us for the Clarity program before we shut the doors on Sunday. I'd love to help you if you're ready for, getting well again. All right, I'll see you tomorrow too, Barbara. Barbara's going to be there tomorrow. Yay! You're very, very welcome. Thanks for being here live with me, guys. Thanks to everyone watching the replay. I know you show up when you can, and I'm wishing you so much wellness. I know you can get well. I believe in you, my friend. I'll see you guys tomorrow at the webinar. Bye for now, and I will see you next week on Wednesday at 10 a.m. for the next edition of the Relief Report as well. All right, bye for now, guys.